There you go.
I can't clap because I've got Theron in my hand.
I was gonna say maybe we need to get you a clapper as well. Um,
Can I one-handed clapping maybe?
nah, it's fine. I think that's your thing now. Okay. Well, there goes the camera. Wait a minute. Okay. Not too much moving apparently. All right, fine. Um, all right. Let's take two. Take two. Take two. um, Welcome to Final Boss Banter. Thank you for tuning in. There's obviously a lot of podcasts out there, so we're very glad that you are spending any time with us. My name is Shaib, and today I am joined with the lovely Shanique. Shanique, how are you?
Hello. I am well, thank you.
All right.
How are you doing, Shoaib?
I am doing. I can never just be okay. I can't just be I'm all right. It has to be there's something bugging me, and there actually is something bugging me, and that's Fortnite. Yeah. So I've been playing a lot of Fortnite, right? Because so this is the thing, yeah. My wife actually said I was playing Fortnite the other day, and I was playing with our mutual friend Sakib. You know Sakib, and
Yeah.
we were playing Fortnite, and she comes over and she's like, "Why don't you guys play something?" Not in a like a rude or like a just. I think it was more like a curiosity sort of slash. Maybe she
Yeah.
doesn't really see the game as that good. Yeah. So she was like, "Why don't you guys play something else?" And then I said, "Look, it's very easy to pick up and play. Yeah, like you don't need any you don't need to remember a bunch of like moves necessarily. You don't need to remember like it's you could put it down for like 4 months, 5 months, half a year, then you could pick it up and it's more or less the same. You'll have probably a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to learning some of the new weapons or something. Like they have a Sub-Zero weapon where you could basically fight, and they can use you could use a bat. Um, so I was like, that's basically the reason, right? Because me and him, we have like spells where we play together like a lot for like a month maybe, and then like 4 months we won't play at all, right? So it's very
Okay.
easy for us to like sort of pick up and play. And that was my answer, right? So you might be wondering, well, that doesn't sound like an issue. That just sounds like you've got a solution for like a thing, right? Which is half of the story. The other half of the story is we've been playing it, and at the first 5 minutes of the game, we're absolutely untouchable, right? First 5 minutes, we're like gunning people down left, right, and center. We're like two-man army, yeah? You can't beat us. And
Mm.
after maybe like 4 or 5 days and like we won maybe like I don't know, like 2 matches, 3 matches, something like that. We're not very good, yeah. I don't I don't claim to be amazing at Fortnite, right? And so after about 4 or 5 days, I realize I'm like, why am I so good at the start? Like it's almost like when we drop in, like we we don't even consider like someone's gonna kill us at the beginning. Like we don't even think, oh yeah, we're gonna die. Like we literally will drop into a town, and then we'll be like, okay, we're gonna loot the thing, and we're gonna go and find people. Like we're so brave at the start. We're like, we're gonna go find them, and we're just gonna kill them. Like we're gonna empty the town, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, how come we're so good at the start, but when we get to the end, we're losing a lot? Then now I've got like this level of like suspicion, right? I've got some kind of suspicion, yeah. So I'm like, okay.
Mm.
And every time I'm killing someone, I'm like, um, I'm looking at now I'm looking for something, right? I'm looking for something out of the ordinary. So every time I kill someone, I'm looking for stuff, right? I'm like, how are they behaving? How are they reacting? So before we get to their behavior, their names were weird. It was like Windface, or it was like um Rain 47, or it was like they're not names like how you would have a name. Like none of the names were just like, I don't know, but they just weren't like, because most people's like Fortnite names or something like that, right? They're like what's the word? They're like a name that you didn't want to be your name. Like even like your Xbox like Live, it's like or your PlayStation PSN account. It's like a name that you didn't want because you were basically like 15 when you made it. So you made it and you were like, "Oh yeah, I love pancakes." You didn't you didn't have a personality. maybe I'm talking for myself, yeah, but actually I'm not. But some for a lot of people, I do see that tends to be the case, yeah. Because mine was 9 times out of 10, it was just my name, like Shayyeb, and most of the time it was just like I could just have my name, and then other times it was like a very simple number. It was like shy 10 or something like that, right? So
That's so interesting
so so
because like, go on.
okay, so basically, like, yeah, I recognize a lot of names because they tend to be bad names, like people didn't really want. You can tell me like if you do that for names, but I imagine you're more different and creative, so you're more likely to look at a name and then be like, I want to make this like a really interesting name. But I don't think other people are like that. Slash, they were really young, or they weren't as creative as they were when they were young, or they had some kind of a juvenile humor, so they would be like, nuts are funny because it's like a double entendre type of you know what I mean? So it's like that sort of thing, right? And yeah, so all the Fortnite names were like Wind McWindface, and I was like, these are like, and it was like so many of them. I realized that they're all bots at this, like they're filling their lobbies with so many bots, so that's why we kept dying at the end. So this is the problem with Fortnite. It's like there's so many bots, and so okay, so we play no build, yeah, because I'm not that good at build. He's okay, but I'm not that good at building, and it really frustrates me because I just want to like shoot things. So we
Mm.
mostly play no build, and it claims to have like 500,000 people playing, but then you're filling every lobby every single time I'm playing. You're filling it with so many bots, and then when I'm shooting them, their behavior is very bot-like. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, there's okay, so there's a fight happening, yeah? They're fighting each other, and then I want to go cause some chaos. So I go jump in the fight, and then there's so now there's two of us teaming up on someone. What should the normal reaction be of a normal person? Yeah, they're gonna look at that situation and think, I can't win. Let me run away. Yeah, you're not doing a last stand. Like if you're trying to play the game properly, you want to win, right? And now you've got two external parties coming at you, shooting you. Like, so what happens is, I think it's a proximity thing or something like that. Yeah, because when I came close, I was shooting it. Then he switched his target to me and was shooting at me, but was missing like 30 to 40% of the shots, right? Um, and then when the other one moved into range, he then switched and was like shooting that one. I was like, this is not normal behavior. Like, you should run behind the house, look for a car, and just escape this situation because you ain't winning that. And then you're just getting it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a no-win situation. So basically, what I said to Saqib, I was like, look, we're both downloading Valorant, we're both downloading Marvel Rivals, and he was like, what are you talking about? Because he hasn't played either of them. I was like, mate, I have not played either of them either, but we are jumping on one of them, and whichever we like better is what we're gonna play, because I can't like deal with all these bots. So sorry, I had to rant about
Well,
this. Sorry.
the the bots are meant to be designed if your player account is slightly lower or you are a new player, because it's the idea of so the problem with some shooting games is that if people have been playing them for a long time and then new people join,
Yeah.
the new people just get taken out every couple of seconds and they never actually get to play the game. And so like this is very clever of Fortnite because it allows people to feel good and have a few wins that keeps them playing, like a small dopamine hit.
Right.
And so it's really designed for children. No offense to Fortnite. It's a great game and I think adults can play it, but it is designed in the fact that it's designed around that idea of the, you know, it can't be too challenging because people won't play it. And what
Right.
makes it so popular is that if you are a high level and you can play very well and you play it enough and you get enough to the higher levels, then you start playing with other players. But I think I've heard like things about it and it's like people find it either frustrating or they find it as a good way to get their skills up.
Mm.
Because I
See,
know that Overwatch used to do it where they asked you, do you want to play against the computers? I think they still had bots, but you actually got to pick And so you got to play against computers who are very stupid, and like algorithms for like NPCs getting away are very mixed. Some games do it very well, and some games they'll like dive into a hole, killing themselves, and it's just like, no, that's no, you went the wrong way. And it's like, how am I learning if you're not that smart?
Yeah, I don't know.
But it really depends on what you're looking for, because I used to really like Rogue Company. But I stopped playing it because too many people get a little bit like vendetta-ish. It's like you headshot someone once from like a mile away in a tower, and then they come for you every single time, and then they find you in other games. And it's like, it's a game, man. I don't care that I'm like 10% of your level. It's not the point. I'm just a good shot.
You know, listening to what you're saying, I do understand the perspective, and maybe we don't really play ranked. So it could be that if we started playing ranked matches, there would be more like humans. So
Mm,
I've maybe got a few more. You know, I could give it a chance in that sense. Maybe, you know what? I'll pitch him the idea, but I do also think like the thing is, I understand what you're saying, and like in principle, it makes sense. But like, I think also that's kind of, I think the reward system for me is like, and I do get what you mean, but thing is, if you went onto a game like Counter Strike Go, like you just have to like go through that learning curve, and or even
mm,
like Call of Duty. I remember when Call of Duty 4 came out, like I was really bad at it, and even when I play some of the other Call of Duties, like the newer ones, sometimes I'm a bit bad at it, but you just have to like put yourself in an advantageous position so you can slowly get better. And it makes me feel like I'm outsmarting and like thinking a little bit different, but I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a bit more. Maybe I'll try ranked, and maybe we'll have a better time. And but if not, I do think that I'm tempted to check out some other games because it's just, yeah, you don't, like if I'm playing something casually, I still want to play against people. I don't want to have to play against. The thing is with ranked, everyone is so super serious. Like it's like what you said with the vendetta thing. It's just like everyone takes it mad serious. Like, which I understand, right?
mm.
Because like when it comes to Street Fighter ranked, I take that fairly seriously, right? But but yeah, when it comes to like certain other games, like I want it somewhere in the middle. I want that like sort of Goldilocks sort of balance of like seriousness and stuff like that. But anyway, but that's what I've been up to. I've been playing a lot of that. Um, I've also been playing Final Fantasy 16. I think I'm almost finished. Um,
Mm.
my wife's been enjoying watching me play that because the story is quite involved. Um, I'm not gonna spoil it, but how much do you care if I did?
Um, Not at all, really.
Okay. Well, I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last one, but it's basically like a crossover between like Attack on Titan and um, what's that show called? What is that show called? Game of Thrones. Right. So it's like a
Okay.
crossover. You get the gist of it, right? You don't need to have seen the shows, but you get the sort of like old medieval time for Game of Thrones, and then you've got obviously Attack on Titans with all the big titans, right? That's the idea of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, I would say we're probably 95% done. Like, I do feel like I need to let the credits roll to finalize my opinion, but I do think it's a very average game. Like, I find it really hard to connect to some of the characters. Like, when you look at like 15, Final Fantasy
Mm.
15, like it was like the opposite way around, where you really, really, really connected with the characters, but the gameplay was maybe a little
Yeah.
bit like fell down a little bit. Um, but yeah, I kind of see what they went for, but I don't know if it's landing for me completely. That being said, I'm suspicious that they could have left a lot of it for the DLC, because even though the main game is good, like I think they have like 2 or 3 DLC chapters, which I'm not gonna pay for. I don't like paying extra for certain things, and Like I might watch it on YouTube so I can get a like understanding of it. So it could be that, but currently I don't know. Like it's okay. Like it's definitely not my favorite Final Fantasy. Like 7 is pretty good, 15 was good, and a bunch of others like I still need to play. So the jury's out. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but yeah.
Hmm. So do you remember the Game Awards?
Vaguely.
Um, and yeah, there were so many little games that like the not little games, but little advertisements that were short ones in between the other
Mm,
games. Um, oh, do you? There was one called Stranova.
okay.
I think that's what it was called. It was the one where it was a tactical shooter, but you could swap between 2D and 3D.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That does ring a bell, but go on.
Because it is on the PS5 and the PC. Maybe you guys could try that.
Is it free to play?
'Cause it is free to play.
Okay, maybe. What? You know what? Yeah, I think we need just need. I think we need to mix it up a bit. I think we've been on the same road, and like I'm down to try some stuff. You know what? After this, send it to me. I'll try and pitch it. I'll see how it goes. But that's enough about me. Tell me what you've been up to, what you've been playing and stuff.
Uh, I mostly I've been up to uni work. It
Okay.
is this year just seems a little bit busier. I think it's because there's more stuff going on all at once, whereas last year was a bit more spread out. But I have been playing mostly the Sims Legacy Collection. I have been emailing the Sims for many years, asking them when they will bring me the old Sims so I can play them. Because I tried to use Wine, and Wine is brilliant, but it wouldn't play the Sims. And it was very upsetting. But finally, they have remastered the Sims. Eh, I don't know, because like, what is the definition of remastering? Because they have just
Hmm.
kind of, I would say they've ported it onto the modern PC so I can play it through Steam. But all of the same bugs are there. Some of the cheats don't work, and some of the same issues keep happening that happened in the old games. Um, Still bugs, but like I see them more as issues because it's like you can solve them by just moving something or turning a particular cheat that happily still works on. But I was saying to my mum that playing it is like, oh, I can see the progression of the Sims, and I
Hmm.
also remember the frustration. And like I was talking to my partner about this, that the muscle memory that comes when you're like, oh, that's glitching out, don't worry, just control shift C, type in move object on. And I was like, ah, the things that you remember that aren't useful in real life, to like how to solve.
Hey, this is your
But
real
I've
life, and you
been
play that game, so it is useful.
This is true, but playing it has made me, it made me even sadder about The Sims 4. I have spoken many times about my sadness and anger with The Sims 4, frustration even.
Hmm.
Um, but playing The Sims, and even some of the I think there was one expansion pack I never got when I was younger, just because I didn't want it. And for me, it was a curated experience, and I was like, nah, don't need it. And even now, because when they ported it, they added every single expansion pack they've ever had,
Right.
just in the price, which actually pretty good for them and a little bit unexpected, based on how, as a company, they've been moving things to smaller and smaller DLCs that you have to pay for. So it was nice that they did that.
When did this game come out, by the
But I
way?
do, um, I want to say like February,
Okay,
but
so
it might have been
very
January. But
very
it's
recent though.
very recent.
Okay.
Um, and it's really interesting because I played one and I was like, oh, I remember making magic. Oh, I remember that you didn't actually have a family. I remember that you couldn't have a wedding if you lived in the same house. You had to marry someone outside. I remember that children never grow up. and their children forever. And it's like, oh, actually, it's quite complicated to have children forever. I remember that there are no days, so that you don't have weekends. So every day is a work day, no matter what, unless you decide to just not go to work one day. And I was like, oh, this is quite depressing, actually. But you can't go on holiday. So it's like, oh, we'll go on holiday. We'll escape from real life for a little while. We'll pretend it's a weekend. But it was and you can have dragons because I love dragons. Um, and then two was very much kind of taking one and adding more of a narrative to it and giving it personality, adding more animation, being able to have a family, making it more of what people see The Sims to be. And there's still frustration there because there's certain things you can't do. There's still animation issues. And I love reading the narratives of like the households that are like Romeo and Juliet and they're fighting and who's going to win. The
Mm.
other household where someone is an alien and it's like, oh, that's so interesting. And the other one where someone is pregnant with an alien baby. I think are they all pregnant with an alien baby? There's a lot going on in The Sims. And oh, Bella is in The Sims too, isn't she? She hasn't disappeared yet. Or did she disappear in The Sims 2 and then her rich husband is now being pursued by two gold diggers? There is a lot going on
Yeah.
outside of just the game, but it still has like the limitations of certain things. And then The Sims 3 came, and it was like playing them again. It's like, yeah, you had like a dream and a vision, and you definitely did this for the passion. And it's possible The Sims 4 is passion, but it just feels like going backwards. It feels like a lot was taken away.
Mm.
Because it feels a lot like The Sims. So The Sims 1, The Sims 2, very much closed world. You live in your house unless you travel to a location. Um, Whereas The Sims 3 was like, this whole town is your home. You can go anywhere. So you want to swim in the river? Swim in the river. And it's like, it's so lovely. I am enjoying like doing all the things I did before, like finding the secret society at uni and getting on the dean's list so I can pay for uni, joining the fraternity because why not, and having toga parties and keeping the grades up so that someone constantly brings pizza so there's always food.
Yeah, I
But
mean, it's definitely interesting. I think the whole thing around is it a remaster or is it a port? What do you feel like it is closer to?
I think it's closer to a port because like I said, that nothing's different. The graphics aren't better. The reflections are pretty much the same. The animations are what they've always been. It doesn't look as though they've added any new
Mm.
clothes. Um, but they might have done because, as I said, I didn't get every single expansion pack. So I'm looking at the clothes. I'm like, I remember this. Oh, that was a great outfit. Oh, look at that hair. But and the other thing that's annoying me is like, oh, I miss my mods. Where are my mods at? How do I add mods to this? I miss my pink hair that flipped up. And I was like, ooh, I wonder if I could make my own hair in Blender and just like add it on as a mod myself. Like, oh, the possibilities are endless. I need mods now. This is the and like seeing people fall in love with it again on Reddit because now it's more accessible to everyone that doesn't have a PC, like a PC running Windows 98. That like seeing people create ridiculous mods. It's like, yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see like how good the game is and how fun it is and reminisce, and then I want to see how people can break it because it's like that's what's fun about games. It's breaking it. It's like shifting through the world, like going to the limits and trying to see what can I do with this. Because it's like, yeah, it's a simulation game and it's a sandbox simulation and it should be like that. It should be like, how can I break this? How can I do something creative with it? Because I think that's the thing about to me breaking it is a good thing because it's like, oh, I did something different. I did something unusual. And it's like, yeah, don't just do the norm. Why not like make a garden where you can grow babies in The Sims 1? Because babies in The Sims 1 are permanently attached to a crib,
Right.
like forever. And so someone's just pretending to make a garden of babies. Babies in The Sims 1 are really annoying. I'm not going to lie.
So I think what I find interesting as well is, like, I'm gonna come at it again from a Metal Gear Solid point of view. Of course, surprise,
Yeah.
surprise, the Metal Gear fanboy wants to talk about Metal Gear, but basically, Metal Gear's been remastered, whatever you want to call it, like a million times by now. Um,
Mm.
I think the way I look at it is sort of like this. So it's finally been remastered. Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1 has been remastered in a package that is now on PlayStation 5, or right? I think it's 30 FPS, and this was a big contention in the community, right? People were not happy that it was 30 FPS, but then I think the sort of excuse they made, well, not excuse, but the reality of it probably was more like they'd have to go in and change a lot of aspects of the game because it didn't necessarily work at 60 FPS, because it was in originally a lot of the cutscenes were intended to work as 30, because it's all of it is in-game rendering. There's no, which
Mm.
was like one of the first of its kind as well, by the way. Um, so basically, like, my kind of question in this sort of Metal Gear frame is sort of like, it's a, to me it's a remaster if the company puts it out for commercial purchase again on a new, or like, let's say a new platform, or maybe even something like PC. So that, to me, if they're reoffering it again officially, that's a sort of a remaster. I think if you do something that deviates from the original, I don't know if you can necessarily call it a remaster, because technically 60 FPS is an improvement, technically, right? Even if they
Yeah.
fixed all the glitches, and if they did, like, that is an improvement, right? And you could argue that some people have ported it and modded it to have the 60 FPS, but I would then make the case, well, that's not necessarily how it's supposed to be played either. So you sort of lose a
Mm.
little bit of that magic that, because actually the way you're supposed to play these games, right, is you're supposed to have an old TV, like a CRT, because the way that the screen refreshed was very different. The stereo
Yeah.
mono speakers were very different. Like, when, and what I learned was that a lot of the testing at the time was done with the technology of the time. So if you're developing the game, you're also testing it on a CRT TV with all the same equipment. So you now
Yeah.
bringing it onto a LCD or a LED or whatever it is, like, screen, is, it's not gonna quite play the same. So I think there's a very fine line between what is a remake, remaster, port. Ultimately, I kind of feel like if you keep it as close to the original vision as possible, even with its mistakes, that's probably what I would see as a remaster, plus the commercial availability of it. That, to me,
Mm.
is a remaster. What are your thoughts?
Ooh, one second. Bye bye, Theron. Um, okay, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, because I think that what throws you off is it's hard to remember that a lot of the testing would have been done with CRTs. Um, it would have been done with, like, yeah, it would have been done with the technology of the time. So, you know, now trying to replicate a lot of this stuff, it's borderline impossible. And not to mention, they're making it with new technology in mind. So even if you ignore the PlayStation 5 for a second, you still have to consider that my TV is a 55-inch TV. It's a LED TV. Like, how is that gonna look? How is that gonna play? What's the refresh rate of most TVs
I,
out there? So it's definitely interesting.
it is interesting because also it makes me think of two things. One, it makes me think of, does that mean that this is a remaster because they didn't change anything and all the bugs are present? And I think that, so in The Sims 1, there's this weird thing where a baby is an object, not a person, until it becomes a child.
Oh, you're
So
political
if
now.
you, no, no, but listen again.
I'm joking. I'm
So
joking.
if you move out of the house and you leave the baby in the house, the baby counts as an object and is sold. And if you try to move in, the baby is gone
Okay.
because it's not counted as part of the family. It's counted as a thing. And it's like that was a really interesting, and I get why they had to do it that way because of programming, but it was an interesting element of it, and I don't think they've changed it. And so it's like that's not a remaster because actually you should make sure that you can't leave the baby behind. That's kind of important. But by not changing it, have is it a remaster then? And then the other thing I was thinking was a lot of like the PS1 graphic games for the PC, they have a filter on them that you turn on or off depending on what you want, that puts a video filter so that you get that kind of like an augmented version of the um like old CRT
Yeah,
TVs,
yeah. Yeah.
which obviously I don't know if they have on PlayStation because I'm trying to think. The only game that I definitely know has that ability is Goat Simulator 3. There is a there's a I think it's the lighthouse. Sorry, spoilers. That if you headbutt it, you can change
The
the
filter.
lighting of the entire world. And there's some glasses you can put on that make it into like all fuzzy. It's like, oh, we should definitely play that. Like it is so fun. And there are lots of games in it that you could only play as multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think let's wrap up, but I think ultimately I think it does need, like, even with all this stuff, like I have seen because I do a lot of like work on a lot of emulation stuff with my Steam Deck. So I have seen like a lot of
Mm.
this filter type of thing, and it does bring a certain charm back into it, but I don't necessarily think it's the same thing. So for me, I think, yeah, I think the remaster would basically be the commercial availability of something. Is it available on, for me, it would be modern consoles. And it has to try and stay true to the vision. I want the same bugs. I don't want it fixed. I don't want it necessarily at 60 frames per second. Like, the options are nice. Don't get me wrong. The options, if you could add the options without impacting too much of the vision, then I think that's nice. But personally, I think as the game, because look, it comes down to this, right? Am I gonna open my PlayStation 1? Am I gonna set it down? Am I gonna play it for a couple hours, plug it all in, then unplug it, put it away? Like, that's what you want to avoid, right? You don't want to avoid the hassle of it. That being said, I do want my own games room with like a retro setup, right? But I can still understand the kind of feelings of wanting a sort of all-in-one situation. But yeah, I think it is the
I
commercial availability of it. Tell me your
see.
remarks.
See, for me, I think that if you are porting a game, then yes, bugs and all, and no changes, just change so that it plays on a different system. If you are remastering, it is like repairing a vintage painting or a
Mm,
historical painting. You want to make it look as beautiful as it was intended to look the first time you made it. So we don't want those bugs. We don't want any of the things that were annoying about but that is remastering because you are redoing something in the sense of the word. You are redoing something, you are doing something again.
okay.
Mastering means you want to do it well, you want it to be a masterpiece. Remastering means it needs to be a masterpiece that you have redone.
Uh,
And it's like, if you haven't done that, then you haven't remastered it. It should be the best version of it, which would mean using modern technologies to solve bugs you weren't able to solve at the time.
okay.
Because otherwise, it's just
You know
porting.
what? We'll carry on. We'll carry this on. I think into the next episode maybe. But for now, um, that's been everything for Final Boss Banter. We are trying our best to make it shorter, and that is it. Goodbye.
Bye. Oh,